Are you a tater tots or a fries person?
That's kind of a loaded question.
No, it's not. It's a simple question. Do you go tater tots or do you go fries?
I'm going fries if they're seasoned with like a Cajun seasoning. I'm going tater tots if I can get them loaded.
No, no. There's no extra additional questions. There's no I'm this if or I'm that if. It's tots or fries. Which one are you going to go with?
Do I get to pick the fry or like am I just getting
It's
some random
tots
fry?
or fries. Which one are you going to go with?
Tots.
Exactly.
Tots, I guess.
Exactly. I would actually go tater tots over fries almost every single time. Unless a place is going to be known for their fries and has world's most famous fries or home of the famous fries, I'm going to go tater tots every time.
So here's a follow-up question. Do you like your fries crispy or not like crispy? Like do you like the long soft ones?
I really don't have a preference for fries. I know you probably like long, you just like it soft, right? You probably like long, soft ones. You can't handle hard.
As soon as I said that I realized that
I
you were I
messed
just
up.
said I gave you a friggin' softball.
I kind of
It,
missed it. I wasn't quite prepared. I wasn't paying attention.
and then for tater tots, obviously they need to be crispy, right? They can't be soft.
In my mind, I don't care, honestly. I don't really think
Okay.
that much about particulars. That doesn't matter that much to me. I'm not the kind of person
No.
that like I like this thing, but only if it's this way, and this way. I either like the thing or I don't. And I'm a tater tots man. I stand by tater tots. Not going to
What do
abandon them
you
just because the fries look spicy.
what's your condiment of choice?
Ketchup.
Okay.
What else would you put on there? Like what are you going to go with?
I
Relish? You put
actually
relish on your
I think I'd rather have mayo.
You're just going to dip tater tots in mayonnaise?
Sure.
I don't know if I would ever have mayonnaise just by itself as a side. Like I'm not I've got to have some ketchup right there that makes me feel better about just having mayonnaise. I couldn't ever just go straight mayonnaise as a side. Like that's
I think I'd actually say ketchup is probably my out of mustard, ketchup, and mayo. Ketchup's probably number three for me.
well that's a ridiculous statement.
It's fair.
You're
I
going to
mean,
put like I'm not going to have just mustard or mayo by itself. You need to have ketchup in there. Without ketchup, nothing else is working. This is probably why you're at the doctor all the time before the age of 40.
my left arm was numb all the way until like 5 o'clock today.
Yeah, that'll do it, right? I think we're putting two and two together and coming up with four here.
Like, how many tater tots you think you can eat in a sitting? 50? 100?
Oh, no. No. I mean, I would think to myself, I probably shouldn't have 50 tater tots. Like, I have reached the age in which excess is something you can't really do. You need to have some degree of moderation in your life once you pass 35. You need to have a little bit of moderation. You can't just go full out at anything.
I will
Whether
say
that's
that I'm getting.
eating or physical activity. You can't just like go sprint. You can't just eat 6 cheeseburgers once you pass 35. You need to have a little bit of self-control. You're going to
After our last episode last week, I did go sprint, by the way. And
Yeah?
it was probably embarrassing. I did do a 40. I did clocked myself doing a 40-yard dash in 2-degree weather, but I wanted to do it.
What'd you run?
A 5.9.
Okay. All right. So if it was legitimately timed, this would probably be 7 seconds. Did you time it
No,
yourself?
no, it would have been probably 6.2, 6.3 if it
So, okay,
was
so 7
chip.
seconds. Did you time it
No, it would have
yourself
been.
though?
I did, yes.
Okay, you definitely didn't start right when you started, and you definitely started a little late and ended a little early. Okay, you know you didn't give yourself an
No,
honest timing.
I was definitely started late, or I started early because I ran after I clicked it, and then when I finished, it was when I clicked it. So I might have even been a little faster than that. I don't know.
And probably
It's
not
not like
really.
sub 6 seconds is anything to be proud of.
I
It's
know, but actually,
embarrassing.
I was surprised that it was in under 6. I think it was probably in the mid sixes. It was probably a 7, probably an
No
8.
way.
Probably actually
I
didn't
mean,
finish.
no, I didn't. But
Did,
I can
did
believe I
you
did.
measure it? Did you measure it?
Yeah, I went to a football field.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's probably legitimate. But if you measured it
Yeah,
yourself, you're like
dude.
out there with a yardstick.
Yeah, dude. For a big guy, I'm actually pretty versatile. I'm all right. Like, yeah.
So let's take it easy. All right.
Okay.
I
I,
didn't
I'm
realize I
I'm
didn't
feeling
realize the
good.
NFL could call it any second.
This is the year. I'm telling you. By the end of this year, it's going to be a great thing. Assuming I'm still around. I'm excited.
I'm going to go ahead and say that there is a 95 to 98% chance that if someone says this is the year, it's not going to be the year.
Oh, it's the year.
It's not
I'm
going to
putting
be.
my foot down. I want to enter my 40s on top.
Okay.
Cause you know what? We could be Lindsey Vaughn right now, right?
Injured in the hospital getting surgery?
Trying to, she should have never been out there. She should have never been out there on a torn ACL. That was one of the most stupidest decisions in pro sports I've ever seen.
I mean,
Um,
if it's her choice, though, right? Like, the only issue that I would have for people who are not familiar, Lindsey Vaughn is a downhill skier of some type. I can't remember the exact event. I think that she's won a bunch of gold medals before. She's in her 40s or very close to it. She tore her ACL right before the Olympics. It was like most people do not compete on a torn ACL, which is a ligaments in your knee. So basically, like a massive season-ending injury in other sports, and she went ahead and competed, and I think she fell and broke her leg. But like, if you can do it, if you're not really taking somebody else's spot, I don't really have a problem with it. Like, it's her choice.
I think the thing is, and yeah, right, it's her choice, right? But they have alternates, right? Like, and I'm not saying the Olympics winning medals, blah blah blah, but like, you know, I don't know. I was surprised that she even went out there, and of course, on the first part of the course where like you kind of get air, she lost control because her leg probably gave out as she was going over the hill. Like,
Oh, I'm sure, but also if this is your absolute last chance, I think a lot of athletes would probably go for it if they were physically capable. I think the only
sure,
reason that a lot of them don't is just because, okay, I physically am not able to do this. Like, you couldn't do that in football. Or it's just like, no, I'm not going to do this because I could maybe come back next year. But if this was your last chance, then go for it. I don't have an issue with it. I mean, it's not what I would do, but I'm not going to be like, wow, that's dumb. Well, I'm never going to do it again. I might as well give it a shot. So I support it. Go for it. She's
all
more
right.
man than you are.
I'm gonna spend 30 seconds, but listen, these are all her injuries since '07. Sprained right ACL, severed tendon in right thumb, microfractures in her forearm, broken right pinky, torn ACL and MCL in right knee, and tibial fracture in her right leg, torn ACL, MCL sprain, broken ankle, multiple fractures in her knee, fractured humerus in her arm, torn LCL, torn ACL, and an injury to her peroneal nerve. I think that's somebody telling you, listen, just take the money and run.
Yeah, I mean, so
Anyways,
I get it in the sense of like maybe you should stop doing this and let it go. But if she thinks that ultimately this isn't going to impact the quality of her life moving forward, like do what you want. I'm just
yeah,
not in the
listen,
business of telling other people what to do with their lives. I'm sorry that you are the hall monitor police over there. John wants to tell
I'm
everybody
just
what to do.
I'm just trying to be, for
Busy
Team
bee in everybody's
USA here,
business.
and should give someone else a shot. All right, you're done. You're
If
done.
she's still better, like if she's beaten you with all of those injuries, then she still deserves it. Like if she's giving the spot, that's one thing. If she's earning the spot, then it's hers. Let her do what she wants. Why you got to be in everybody's
I
business?
I will say this that you ski, right?
No, I snowboard.
Oh, well, watching downhill skiing, that that looks terrifying and damn impressive.
I don't know if so I snowboard. I do it enough that like I can do the blacks if I really want to, if I'm motivated, but for the most part I just kind of like to cruise the greens and the blues. I will say that I have never once in all the times that I have been snowboarding thought to myself, I'm going to go as fast as I possibly can. And those people are going as fast as they possibly can. Like, oh, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm not just going to rip down this mountain as quickly as I possibly can.
I I just don't watching it. Yeah, I'm just like, man, I don't know how anyone stays up. I don't know how they do it. It's nice weather though. There, huh? It's like nice weather like we have here right now.
not doing this on this you. I'm not just trying to get in everybody's business. Why don't you leave her alone? She wants to do what she wants to do. Let her do it.
Listen,
Doesn't
I have
affect
nothing
you.
but respect for her.
Mm,
Nothing but respect for her.
some people seize the moment. Some people live in fear.
You ready for people? We'll just move on. All right, let's.
You know what it is? You know what it is? You don't understand it. You don't understand it because you're not a champion. You're not a champion. I'm a champion. You're not a champion. You don't understand the championship mindset. You don't understand what it takes to be a winner. You don't understand what it takes to be a winner. You're not a champion. That's why you're over here like, well, but one day, like maybe you could get hurt because you're not a champion. You don't have what it takes to be a champion. That's why you don't understand it. Lindsey Vaughn and I can talk about these things. She's a champion. She understands the championship mindset. You don't understand the championship mindset. You've never been around a championship. You've never been around a champion. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it takes. You don't know the sacrifice, the blood, sweat, and the tears. You just want to have everything handed to you. Somebody to pat your little baby bottom, tell you it's a good job because you got 18th place. Oh, this was a good year, guys. We did slightly above average.
I really hope. Are you getting a ring? Are you getting a ring from the Seahawks? Is that what you're doing?
I'm a champion, right? I know what it's like to live in a championship city. You don't know what it's like to live in a championship city. You don't know what it's like to root for a championship team. You don't know what it takes to be a champion. That's not true. You don't.
The Pistons.
Oh, the Pistons.
Tigers,
okay,
the Red
is
Wings.
it the world's most popular sport? Is the United States' most popular sport? Is it? Is you at the top of the top? Oh, what? You know what, guys? We won Junior Varsity League.
Can I get through shoutouts, or are you gonna just keep talking?
Go for it. I'm just telling you, you don't know what it's like to be a champion.
All right. Are you done?
Yeah.
Good.
Waiting for you.
All right. Gilbert Bowers, Florence Sandoval, Vera Riley, Maddie Levy, Susan Estes, Edmund Walters, Victoria Edwards, Cole Lowry, Braden Bernard, and Nicola Sutherland.
Edmund Walters must be a very old name. Edmund Walters.
I always wonder what our demographic is. Like, what age do we appeal to if we appeal to any?
It's actually surprisingly pretty even across the board between like 20 all the way up to 65 and pretty evenly split across men and women. Which is very surprising to me. We thank everybody. I'm always like, oh, that's who listens to us and watches? Like, oh, it's a diverse audience. Thank you.
I'm always thankful.
Hey, yeah, great.
Praise, okay. I was going to bring this up, but this is a perfect segue to say this.
Let's hear it.
Why, when athletes do well, they praise Jesus, right? Or God or whoever. But when they don't do well, you never hear them say the latter.
I do not generally try to get involved in people's religious beliefs if that's what they want to do. But I've always found that also interesting in the idea that, like, I'd like to thank Jesus for helping me score this touchdown. So Jesus just said, screw the other guy. Like, Jesus just said, you know what, man, I'm for this running back, but screw this linebacker. Like, God's just up there making choices. Like, you know what, I'm helping out the guard today. Cornerback, you're getting screwed.
I think it's fantastic. I don't know. Somebody had brought that up to me. I was like, yeah, that's kind of right. Like, you never really hear the athletes ever say, forget Jesus. He wasn't out there to help me throw the ball or like hit the ball or anything.
I'm really thankful that Jesus just said, you know what, screw that other team. I'd like to thank Jesus for helping me make this touchdown. And I'd also like to thank Jesus for just saying, screw you, defense. Like, I think I kind of understand why a lot of athletes are very religious, because at the end of the day, you are essentially you won the genetic lottery. Like, you were given a gift that you kind of is what it all comes down to, right? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of hard work and effort and concentration and all that kind of stuff that goes along with it. But mostly it's just winning the genetic lottery, which you really had nothing to do with. So I would thank Jesus too, because that's just kind of like, who else are you going to thank? Well, how'd you really accomplish this? You know what? I was just born 6'8" with a 48-inch vertical. So I guess I'll thank Jesus too. Like, I'd be thanking whoever's up there as well, because that's really why you're in the position that you are.
Let's see. Do we want to talk Savannah Guthrie's mom?
Not really. Like, I mean, I don't think that she's alive.
I mean, I think it was today or over the weekend that apparently there's a crypto ransom request for $6 million. I mean, nothing
I don't
speaks 2026 like kidnapping somebody and then requesting crypto. Like,
I like that's okay. This is my thing on that. Like, I don't really personally, my personal belief that I have absolutely no reason other than covering news stories for decades about it is like, I don't think that this person was really kidnapped. I don't think this exactly went to the plan because, like, you're going to kidnap somebody and then not bring the medication that they need to keep them alive. Like, this didn't really seem like this was super planned out. And also, like, who? I don't understand anybody who commits a crime that is in any way traceable that thinks they're going to get away with it. Like, they're going to get you the money. They're going to just drop it off on a road. Like, they're going to follow you. Like, this doesn't seem like a very, if their kidnapping was really what happened, it doesn't seem like they put a lot of thought into it.
I mean, wouldn't that make sense though? If it was just, I mean, a random kidnapping, which once again, I still work in the media. You worked in media for quite a while in the news business, that is. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm going to say 98% of kidnappings are not random kidnappings.
No, it's almost always somebody associated with the family and close to the family. Pretty much all like crimes are pretty much somebody you know. I mean, there's not a lot of truly random crime that exists. But that ain't going to turn out well.
Well, I hope it does, even if the family has to pay money. But I just don't know how you can kidnap somebody for, what is it? I don't know. It'll be, 8-9 days, assuming that she isn't found by the time this comes out. How does that happen in today's world? It's crazy.
Assuming that your family had the type of resources where they could pay certain amounts of money, how much do you actually think somebody would pay to get you back? Like, if somebody kidnapped you, what do you think your family would be willing to pay to get you back?
By the way, I wasn't laughing at Nancy Guthrie. I was laughing at your question.
Do you think you would get into would you get into the six figures? Do you think somebody would be like, do you think you get 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8?
No, I mean, I don't have enough. Like, my family doesn't have that money.
I bet you get 6 figures. Do you think your family would get you six figures?
No, maybe 50, maybe.
6. I could see I would be if I find out that my wife is like, it's $1 million and we paid it. Like, you did what? Keep the $1 million.
Right.
I would start to get a little bit and like, how much? $10 million? You paid that?
Yeah, man. I'm not sure how, like, you're like on the other end with the kidnappers, like, no, don't take their money.
No.
Don't take, like,
we're going to pay it. Like, hell you are.
Yeah,
he actually took took himself out. Like,
well, that would be, I feel like that's a pretty morbid question, but that's a question, I don't have to be worried about being kidnapped. No one's going to be able to lift my big ass. So
nobody's like, unless there's a forklift involved. How's they kidnap a cargo truck?
Unless it's like Brock Lesnar or something. Like, ain't no one lifting me. Like,
well, okay. You got anything else?
I kind of wanted to talk about the Turning Point halftime show, but only because I read something. And this is how disillusioned some people are.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking politics here. It's about Gilbert Brantley, who performed on the Turning Point
Who
show.
Is he again? I have literally never heard of this person. Never heard of Gilbert Brantley.
I would say he's a pretty successful country artist, but he is, like, he knows his bass in country music, and that's all he does. Like, it's, he's not like Jelly Roll or
he has
maybe
a
like
certain
Darius
audience.
Rucker. Yeah. So anyways, so he came out and said, like, because, of course everyone's asking the question, right? Like, why are you doing this, blah, blah. He said he wasn't doing it to be divisive, but he was doing it because he wants his children to someday, watch and know that their dad played a halftime Super Bowl show. Except you didn't play the Super Bowl halftime show.
Right, it's a fundamentally a lie. Like, it's deluding yourself to think that, like, no. Like, hey, look, going outside and screaming at the top of your lungs during halftime is not playing a Super Bowl halftime show. There's only one Super Bowl halftime show, which I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I am not familiar with Bad Bunny. I mean, I've heard of him, but I don't think that I ever really listened to any of his music. I did not know that he sang entirely in Spanish. I didn't know that. I thought it was the best Super Bowl halftime show I've ever personally watched. From a production value, like, the story was great, like, the visuals were great. I thought it was the best Super Bowl halftime show that I've ever seen. I didn't know what he was singing, but I could care less. Like, you don't know the music, half the words to the music anyway, even when it is in English.
Okay, you old man.
You could go ahead and you could say, like, how much of a song lyric do you actually know the words?
I mean, are we going hip hop? Because of course that's harder. Country music, like, rock, like
most popular song.
R.I.P. Brad Davis from Three Doors Down. Terrible.
Who's Brad Davis?
Was that his name? Oh God,
I don't know. I can't even tell you what a Three Doors Down song is. Is that Kryptonite?
Yeah, that's one of their songs.
Is it really? Yeah. I thought the Super Bowl show was fantastic. Thought it was great.
Brad Arnold. I butchered that. Brad Arnold.
You messed that up. What a terrible.
I thought that the Super Bowl halftime show was good. I mean, I think everyone woke up or had the same opinions, right? You didn't really know what he was saying, but it was entertaining enough, and the beats were good enough that it kept you around, and the story was great. That couple got engaged. Lady Gaga was there. Ricky Martin was there. Cardi B had like a really rando, like she was like a secondary cast member type deal. Like I thought she was gonna maybe sing, which would have been pretty sweet. And then at the end where he brought all of like the America's flags together, and then
that was cool.
Like that, that's the way it should be, man. Bring everyone together, not tear them apart. But anyways, I wouldn't say it's like the best I've ever seen, but it definitely was good.
It's also, I mean, look, I was engaging in some other activities that are legal in the state of Washington that made that show much more interesting to me. I was like, this is amazing. I'm fascinated. Like, I think that the thing is that, all right, if you work in the media like I used to and like John still does, you kind of know the ins and outs of what it really takes to put something together. And so to see that on TV the way that you saw it on TV is really hard to do. Like, oh, they moved a temporary set in there and then made that look like that. Like, that was, from a logistical standpoint, very impressive. But that's probably boring to a lot of people.
Well, last thing I'll say is, for him to go out there and perform the way he did under the scrutiny that he has been under, and once again, not playing left or right, but I mean, he definitely, he was awesome. Like, you have the president of your country or of the United States, telling you not to do it, and he went out there and rocked it. So good on him. It was the best part of the entire night. I thought I will say that because I didn't care about Seattle or the Patriots.
Well, you're not a champion. You don't. You just have no connection to the idea of winning, so it doesn't mean anything to you. Like, you don't value it because you've never done it. You don't know what it's like to be a champion. You don't have championship blood. You don't live in a championship city. You'll probably never be around a championship. It's not who you are. You're not a champion. I can't talk to you about it. You don't understand. You're not a champion.
Are you going to go to the parade?
Yeah, I think I will, actually. Because it's really close to my house, and I can basically just like look out and be like, hey, there's a parade.
I hate you so much sometimes.
Well, when you're a champion, man, you revel in victory. You don't know what it's like to be a champion.
Are you ready for a top 5?
John, not a champion. Shull.
Thank you. Actually, that's the way that you should address this episode, I think.
John, not a champion?
Yeah.
I don't think I really even need to say it. People just know it. They can look at you. They know you're not a champion.
You never know. You never know.
Hey, the next year, the Detroit Lions is going to be their year. They're real good this year. You hear them? They won more games than they lost. That's the best year they've ever had in our whole lives. They're terrible.
I mean, to be fair, they have a last place schedule, and
Okay, wow, yeah, nobody's expecting anything. No one is expecting anything. And this is the thing. This is why I get on you about this, is because it's your fault now. It's your fault. When you're in Seattle, when you're a champion, when you know what it takes to be a champion, when you've won a championship before, you demand excellence. You don't put up with it. You guys don't know what it's like. You just accept anything. Like, oh, we won 2 games this year. Great year. Like, you don't have expectations. You do not hold people accountable, and that's why you're not a champion. You don't have championship blood. Sorry. Keep drinking your soda over there. How is it?
It's delicious, and it's sparkling ice, by the way.
What flavor is it? You go cherry?
Black raspberry.
Oh, I don't like that one that much. I usually get the Star-Kissed one. Strawberry.
Those are okay.
Yeah, I like that one. It's so powerful. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, our top 5 is top 5 dips. It's your 5th best dip.
So I don't know why that was funny. My 5th best dip is a 7-layer dip.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is going to be 2 very different lists.
I mean, number one has to be the same. But yeah,
no,
we'll see what happens.
I disagree with you. My number 5 is hummus. I would put hummus higher, but like you can only kind of eat so much hummus.
Hummus is it's just okay. It's okay to me.
You can't really just go to town on hummus. Hummus kind of limits you a little bit more than other dips. Hummus limits you more than other dips. You're like, oh, that's enough hummus.
My problem with hummus is eating it with vegetables is awesome. But you get into, do you have pita or do you have crackers? Because it doesn't taste that good on crackers.
I'll put it on anything.
But on pita is pretty awesome.
I mean, I have it on bread. I don't care.
On bread? On bread?
I'll put it on bread. I'll eat it out of a spoon. Like, it's good. I like it. It's yummy. Delicious.
My number 4 is the simple, just queso dip.
Okay. Wow. Man, you're going to have some snob stuff in there. You're going to have, like, caviar, amuse-bouche, cooked au soufflé. You're going to be such a snob about it. You're not a man of the people.
I'm not.
You're not a man of the people. It's going to be a snob. It's going to be a snob thing.
It's not. I don't think it is. It's not.
My number 4 is spinach dip.
Okay.
The best vegetable flavored dip is spinach dip.
Oof. I can't really think of many more. Can you?
Artichoke. Really, spinach dip compared to spinach is a huge dichotomy there. Like, you would not think for how good spinach is as a vegetable, it makes a fantastic dip.
Yeah, but I would argue that, like, most of it's not even the spinach. You know what I mean? Like, it's all
but still,
cheese and cream and all that.
It gets the credit.
All right, my number 3 is French onion dip.
Okay. I forgot about French onion, to be honest with you. I feel like number 3 is probably the appropriate place for it, though. I forgot about French onion dip.
Thank you for that.
Guacamole dip. You can get the problem that I have with guacamole dip is that if it's not like, you can get some bad stuff every once in a while. Like, oh, that's not right.
So I actually have guacamole as my number 2.
Would you agree that guacamole can be very hit or miss at times?
It can, and I guess I will be snobby because I don't like ordering it at a restaurant. I like making it myself. Because if you get avocados that are kind of nasty, it will ruin everything.
I agree. John is the kind of person who goes to a restaurant and is like, I could make this better. Meanwhile, he burns brisket.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing.
No one's ever hated my brisket, so.
Well, nobody's going to tell you to your face, and they're not paying for it. I'm not going to complain about something to a friend of mine that I'm not paying for.
Yes, you would. If my brisket was shit, you would never let me live it down.
I would say it's overrated. It's like, it's okay, right? Here's the thing. Your dip's not that good because, like I've said before, you don't know what it takes to be a champion. You can't have champion-level dip because you're not a champion. You don't know what it's like to be at the top of your game. You know what it's like to be kind of average. Oh, yeah, this is great. It's only great because average to you is good. I'm a champion. I require champion-level things. It's got to be the best.
Yeah, you are amazing. What's your number 2?
Queso.
Okay.
I love me some queso dip. A little bit of spice, a little bit of meat.
Woo! Woo! Okay, so your number one. I think I know what your number one is.
No, you don't. Oh, maybe guess. Maybe you do. Maybe you know. Maybe you know. Maybe you know my dip tastes better.
I mean, I feel like you're just basic, so you're gonna pick salsa.
No, 7-layer dip. I love 7 layers.
Okay,
Just 7
okay.
layers. Nothing else
All right,
compares
well,
to 7. 7-layer dip.
we both left off salsa because my number one is buffalo chicken.
Buffalo chicken dip? I didn't even know that was a dip.
Yeah,
What
it's
is
actually
it?
I have perfected a dip that I call crack dip, but it's
Oh
actually
my God.
a
What is it,
modified
John?
buffalo chicken dip.
Okay, who'd you buy it from? Does it say Tostitos on the side of it?
No.
This is my patented buffalo chicken dip. It says Tostitos on it.
Hey, anyone out there that listens to this, if they've had my crack dip, they will tell you it's the best dip they've ever had.
It, right? Like they don't. They're not. Okay. I think I've mentioned this before. Did someone say you should open a restaurant after trying your food?
Yes.
No, they haven't, because the last time we talked about this, they said no, and now you're lying because you know that it's your heart that your dip is okay. It's all right.
My children tell me I should open a restaurant all the time.
Oh, it's Detroit Good, which is not making the playoffs.
Which is not a champion.
It's not a champion. It's not a champion. It's not a champion. God, the best part about it is that when you're a champion, it's forever. You're always called a champion. You will never know this. You'll never explain it. You'll never know what it's like to be a champion.
I sincerely, the thing is you kind of contradict yourself because you've been a champion. You won a Super Bowl in 2013.
No, I wasn't living here in Seattle. I wasn't part of it. I wasn't living in the city. I wasn't on the team, right? Like, just because you go play for a team that won a champion in the past doesn't make you a champion too. This is like, you don't even understand what it's like to have a championship mindset, to be a champion. You don't even know how it works. You're just thinking, well, I could just move there and I'm automatically one. No, you have to earn it. This is why you're not a championship, because you think somebody's just going to give it to you. You have to earn being a champion.
I mean, anything I say, you're gonna just tell me I'm not a champion. So I'm done talking about this.
Right? There's no way to win the argument, because I could just say you're not a champion and you wouldn't understand.
Yeah, I did not. My team did not win the Super Bowl this year. You are correct.
Well, actually, they didn't even make the playoffs.
Thank you. Yes, they did not even make the postseason.
This was their year, though, right? Didn't you say this was their year?
And your Mariners beat the Tigers in the playoffs. You want to throw that in there too?
Well, we know what it's like to be a championship. And like right now, you guys would look at this was a great year for us. This was an amazing year for us. We got all the way to the playoffs. And we look at it as like, but you didn't win. When you're a championship, you expect championships. You don't settle for anything less. You guys just settle for being like, okay. Anyway, do you have anything in it? What was your number one? Oh, buffalo chicken. What's your honorable mention? Do you have anything?
I mean, I did, but I really don't want to talk to you anymore. I mean, I had salsa.
I don't really consider salsa to be a dip, to be honest with you. It's just by itself. Like, that's like...
Yeah, I mean, I put hummus on there just because I felt an obligation to do that. And then I put this one on there because it's a favorite of mine that you're going to call me snooty for, but like apple pie dip, like a dessert dip, is really good.
I don't really even know what that is, to be honest with you.
It's basically like it's a sloppy mixture of apple pie, and then you take like a cinnamon stick and you eat it. Like, it's really delicious.
Okay, cool.
I hate you so much.
Well, when you're at the top,
I know you're not.
When you're at the top, all you can do. You're gonna have a lot of haters when you're at the top. That's what it takes to be a winner.